I really didn't spend enough time on food addictions. Truthfully, I was so much more concerned with your T and B cell, your immune system, brain damage. Um, and truthfully, I didn't have a lot of trouble with food addictions until um, this the tumor took me down. I mean, I've suffered terribly in my life. I've lived through an unbelievable Holocaust and cruelty and brutality that it's just beyond, that I'm still here at 78 and still fighting. But the COVID-19 is going to kill me, and I am concerned for the children. I have only lived and done everything I have done in my life to save children and the next generation from my disease. And mental illness is why we have food addictions. And it's not the only reason. The chemicals in our food are causing the addictions. We are a society that has gone mad with greed. Our health agency, Health Canada, and Canada in particular, is behind the poisoning of our children, myself, canola oil, chemical additives that are extremely addictive. Americans are bad, but at least they put everything on the label. Here, we don't even have the right to know what the hell we're eating. And it is a worldwide problem. And in particular, the Black community has a serious problem with it. Why not? Been there, done that. We have a lot in common. I've been enslaved. Don't kid yourself. Terribly. So, and brainwashed. That the only time I was worth anything was if I was making money. And despite my paralyzing attacks and the pain and suffering that I endure with this disease for 70 years, well, since I'm 6 years old, 72 years now. As long as I could get outside in a gas mask and ski cross country and climb a hill, even a little one, like at Moonlight Beach, teeny weeny, and I've done that, skiing on slippery grass. Dan said I'm very good at hanging on to the moments. If I could get a couple of days in the year where I could really dance like I did with Helen last year. But when we lost our apartment on Pine Street, we were within walking distance of my favorite grocery store, and they order for me. And I'd go every day and get fresh foods, and I was making these wonderful, healthy alternatives. And as I'm uploading my diet to preserve it for historical purposes for the next generation and to save the children, I'm realizing no wonder I'm gaining so much weight, belly fat in particular. Chips addiction. Dan tries to help me, but I'm so far away from being able. I can't even open a window to get fresh air. So I'm so far away from fresh food, and I'm very visual. If it don't look good, I don't want to eat it. Well, mind you, I've eaten stuff that looked like puke, mud, and diarrhea. Force feed myself when I have to. Yeah, I've done that. Unbelievable, the kind of courage that it takes and the power that it takes for me to do that when I had to do it. But now, I'm never going to dance again. I'm never going to be able to breathe outside again. It's hard. And the only thing that keeps me going are doing these videos. So I have a couple of videos here that I'm going to include. I started writing poetry, writing my feelings, and then uploading it onto YouTube because it made me feel good. Not because it'll help anybody particularly, but sometimes I have to do something for me. And when I get finished uploading all these videos, I'm going to start dancing just for me. And I got to find a way to eat healthy. Now, I make sure he eats healthy. No matter how I feel, I make him healthy meals. But then I don't eat them. Yeah. You know, do what I don't do sometimes. But most of you are going to survive this, okay? And so most of everything that I have is going to make your brain extremely powerful. And mental health, poverty sucks. And you don't have to go to school. I was denied school. You can relearn. Get into technology. Get into the digital world. Get yourself trained in that and have a career that no matter what happens, COVID-19, you're going to be able to work and you're going to be able to make money. Because you know what? I knew how to make money. I'm very good at it. I was robbed. I'm not very good at recognizing when someone is out to take me because of my mother's brainwashing, but I was very good at making money. And I'm still good at it. It's just that I don't have time for that anymore. I have to try to save you children before I die. But yeah, you go out there and you never mind about working for a minimum wage. Your brain doesn't have to be deaf, dumb, blind, and stupid. You can create. I don't care who you are. I lost all memory. And take a good look at my YouTube channel and what I've created. The websites will be gone soon. And my Facebook will be gone soon. But my YouTubes will live forever. Yeah. I relearned. I can read biochemistry today. And I couldn't read or write a thing at the age of 42 because I lost memory. So I don't care who you are or what you are. You can do anything. And the food addictions, well, you got to somehow have a happy day to want to eat healthy. You got to somehow know that tomorrow is going to be better and you've got something to work towards to eat healthy. You can't just stop all food addictions. You have to deal with what's going on inside of you. And this is already too long. But I want you to know that I love you. Unless you're a murderer, unless you work for Health Canada, and unless you're a worker and an owner of a wet market, and unless you're Trump, and anyone like Trudeau who's promoting pipelines, gas, oil, and diesel, I don't like you. I despise you. But the rest of you, I love with all my heart and soul. Yeah. Okay. God bless. And one day at a time. You can do it. I'm outliving people that were healthy. And they've already died, and I'm still here. So there's a lot you can do with your brain, and you got to have okra, and you got to have healthy food because you are what you eat. Love you, everybody, except the ones I mentioned. I am in the process now of redoing the OKRA Diet for All, the research for diets for disease control. And I'm beginning as usual at the end, because when I upload them, the numbers need to be at the end and then consecutive for easy access on YouTube. Now, I need to explain that chapters 32 to 39 are writing, semi-poetic, poetry, prose, whatever you want to call it. Disease, the brain is the captain of the ship, okay? Not just in my disease. Parkinsonism, by now, if you've paid any attention to my work, you know that it's caused by canola oil and toxic chemicals. But it also includes autism. When I lost my memory and couldn't read or write and could barely speak, if you asked me a question, I couldn't talk to you. I couldn't answer you because my brain couldn't compute. The words were like, okay. I could read, but I didn't comprehend what I was reading. I just sounded good. So it's important to realize that I was living with flashbacks and still do. But to get my brain memory working, I wanted to go back to school, and I was denied the right because they thought I had AIDS. And in today's world, you wouldn't be able to go because of COVID-19. And there's going to be worse coming yet. By the time some of you see this, we'll be a much worse kettle of fish than we are now, and it's bad enough. We're in the midst of a terrible pandemic, and the only reason multi-millions haven't died is because the whole world is shut down. But what I'm trying to explain to you is that I sat with the dictionary, and I wrote the words, and I today use Google. I can't spell. I still can't spell. I can say it, phonetic, psychiatrist, but I can't spell it. That part of my brain has never been fully restored, and this is 36 years later. But what I did was I took writing courses by mail, and today it's digital. You could go online, but you need to work your brain. You need to exercise the brain. Dan made me listen to music, country music. I was not a big country music fan. It's too slow for me. I'm a dancer. And he said, now your test is I'm going to want you to listen to this. I want you to write down as much as possible. When I come home from work, you're going to translate what you heard. And he quickly realized that what I heard was not what they said. And I was reacting from my own experience, my own pain, the brutal torture, the rapes, the violence, the cruelty, being abandoned and left on the streets to die. I had to repair that. I had to hear and listen to what was really being said and not reacting. That's all part of healing. I don't forgive. I'm not God. Don't put that responsibility on my shoulders. I have enough to deal with. I'm not walking around with hate. I hate who did what they did, and I do what I can to see that people like that go to prison, although in Canada that's not possible, because this is not a democracy and our laws are completely designed to promote crime. Yeah, that's the truth. So, as I said, these are funny little writings that I did that I'm going to share, but I want you to understand that they are a part of an exercise that you should try to write. Doesn't matter if you get published, but you've got YouTube. You've got all kinds of ways that you can be heard. Just because I wasn't successful doesn't mean you won't be. So yes, chapter 32 to 39. And I'm going to start with 39, but I'm not going to have another explanation. Okay? So I hope that you can recognize what I'm talking about. It's exercising the brain.